Page 77. This is number 3 at the bottom of the page. Doesn't seem to have a title. All right, doesn't have to, I guess. A lot of pieces, when they do this, they'll use the tempo as the title. They could have called this allegretto as the title. A lot of pieces will do that. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go through the process that we've been using for learning a piece of music. If you're not sure what all that is, I explain it in detail, most of it in detail, in the lesson for page 76. See, I don't explain everything in every lesson because I'd be repeating myself and driving myself nuts, and the lessons would last an hour. No. So in order to get everything, you really kind of got to listen to, really got to go through the lessons of the whole book to really get everything in most cases. So let's go through here, and I may talk about a few more things. Who knows? It depends on the music. I look it over, I see it's 2 lines long. The clef signs are treble, bass, clef. The key signature is 2 sharps. So this is either in the key of D major, has 2 sharps. Or if I go down a third, 1, 2, 3, it's in the key of B minor. Because B minor then would have 2 sharps. So the hand position, I think is what they want, is they're going to go in D major, it would be here. And in B minor, it would be here, but I got to have the sharps. C sharp is here. So that's the hand position. As long as I know what it is. I'm just figuring out what the notes are. And then 3/8 time signature, which is similar to 3/4, except instead of quarter notes, we're counting 1/8 notes, which explains all the 1/8 notes. So each 1/8 note gets a count. Okay. Now this one, the hands are just playing one hand at a time. And when it does that, I'll go ahead and take both hands together. If the hands were playing at the same time, I do it one hand at a time first. So here, the first line is right hand, it's here, and it's here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Please don't read these other finger numbers. You only need the finger number at the beginning to tell you where to put the hand. And the second line, we're here, because we're in this position. And if you don't want to stay up in here, and I don't, I come out here and I go back in here when I need the thumb. So I'm going back and forth based on what's in the music. I don't recommend staying up in here for very long unless you have really, really super little hands. It's also a little bit dangerous when you start moving around, your fingers get caught in between these things. So it's just here, and you can play out here on the tips of the black keys. You don't have to be in here. You actually have more control the further out you are, because the key is actually a lever, and the further you are to the side, the more control you have on the lever. So it's out here, and then come out. So once I have that, the hands are okay, I get rid of the hesitations. And I can play this without looking at the keyboard. You ought to be able to play all of these without looking at the keyboard. You want to develop a feel for the keyboard. It's very important, especially when black keys are involved. It will prepare you better for when we start moving around. Then I add the articulation. Here, all they have is a phrasing. Each line is a phrase. So I'm going to lift up at the end of the first line to go to the second line. But it's just a little silence, like taking a breath. Otherwise, I'm connecting them. And then the dynamics is MF, mezzo forte. Whatever you think moderately loud is, I don't know. Whatever, and the whole thing is that. Ugh. The speed is allegretto. Allegretto is in between moderato and allegro. I call it the fun speed. It's just a personal thing, because to me, most pieces that turn out to be fun are in allegretto. So, if andante is a casual stroll, walking along. Moderato is a walk where you're headed somewhere, but you're not in a hurry. You're just headed. You're going someplace. Allegretto is a walk where you're kind of in a hurry. It's a fast walk. Not running, just a fast walk. Yeah. Go any faster than that. You don't even have to go that fast because it's a range, it's a felt thing. Again, the process, we've been going through the process just one thing at a time. More of what I do, what I haven't talked about yet in these videos, and the process is once I can play it mechanically okay, I got everything written, or that's written in here okay, Then I start thinking about the interpretation. And that's really where the magic happens. That's what it actually is where we're after. You spend a lot of time on interpretation. I do a lot of mental practice. When I'm walking someplace, I'm going over it and singing it to myself in my head, la, 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 whatever. I am mentally practicing the interpretation. I'm experimenting with the interpretation. How do I want to feel it? How do I want to interpret it? Here, I always start with the natural accents. That's just me. And in a 3/8 or 3/4, whatever, it's the first beat of the measure. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, feel it. It's a little heavier or a little lighter. I'm exaggerating them so you can hear it better, but you don't exaggerate these accents, you just feel them. Think of dancing. 1, 2, 3, 1. A lot of times when people are dancing, they're dancing to the natural accents. They just don't realize it. Yeah. So I feel the natural accents, and I see if I can get in and feel the music at all. Here. And if I can feel anything to it, I might get a little louder and softer in places. If I feel it, I put it in. If I don't feel it, I don't put it in. That's interpretation. When they give you the slurs and the phrasing and the dynamics and the speed, they're telling you a little bit about how to interpret it. They're giving you some general guides, but you can do more with interpretation than just what they're talking about. I'll spend months, if not years, experimenting with interpretation. I never stop. Even after I got the mechanical stuff out of the way. To me, that's the fun. A lot of these people, I know my students, they don't say they will, but I know a lot of them, when they go through these books or the method books that I have, I cover hundreds of method books. They go through the method books without a teacher or anything. They go through and they learn the notes and the rhythms and okay, I got that, let's go on. And they're just anxious to get through the book because they think the sooner they get through the book, the sooner they'll get good. And they're fooling themselves because they'll probably never get good. The real magic happens in the interpreting the music and taking your time and getting into. Now there's a note under this to transpose this to G minor. They sure like this G minor transposing thing, don't they? So I'm in B minor here. I simply put the hand in G minor. I'm going to come up here. Remember, a G major's here, and if you move the middle note down, it's a minor. So if I went here, B minor, well, if I took the middle note and moved it up, it'd be B major. Well, G minor is just the middle note goes down. So G minor is 3 flats, or 2 flats, excuse me, if you're curious. And so I'm just going to use the same fingers of whatever they've got. Playing the same fingers as what they're playing, but again, I don't like reading finger numbers. I think that's a bad idea, but basically it's the same fingers. I'm just in the G minor hand position. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'll give us 3 counts. Now keep in mind we're not performing it, we're just checking notes and rhythms. 1, ready, go. 2, 3. 2, 3, off.